Good evening and welcome to the Cedar Falls Board of Education meeting. It's Monday, November 10th. And I would like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. First, two things that I wanted to mention. And the first is there was a school election last week. And so thank you to the around 5,000 citizens that came out and voted. Appreciate all the support and coming out and voting. The next thing that we want to recognize is tomorrow is Veterans Day, and so any community member or staff member that is or has been involved in the armed services, we want to honor you tomorrow. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and get into our standard agenda tonight. The first item on our agenda is the consent agenda, which has several things. Our normal agenda items of approval of tonight's agenda, approval of last board meeting's minutes, approval of accounts payable, an open enrollment report, and one special item, which is a Grantwood AEA Power School support contract. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay, Director Gruber. And is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions or amendments that anyone would like to make before going to a roll call vote, or a standard vote, sorry? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And we'll now move into what is normally a public comment portion of our agenda. We don't have any public comment tonight, so we'll move through into our normally scheduled communications agenda. So the first, I believe, presenter tonight is James Peng from the high school, our student board representative. So welcome, James.
How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Fantastic. So I guess I'll just start off with recapping everything that Student Summit in our high school has been up to recently. So first thing we did was obviously, homecoming and getting that dance set up. Choosing the theme and setting it up, we do that every year, and it was always fun. We had a great turnout this year. We also more recently had our trunk or treat event, which is essentially where the clubs in our school can get together and provide like a trick-or-treating opportunity for local kids. So that also had great turnout and raised a lot of money for the food drive. Speaking of, we led the surrounding area and schools in terms of funds raised out of all schools, which is Cedar Falls, Hudson, the Waterloo schools. Might be missing one or two, but $16,000 was raised, and we raised $8,257.87 for that food drive. So we had, the rest of them combined, we had more than them, so good win there. How we fundraised, we had a couple different methods. We had a bake sale, lip sync, battle, frisbee competition, and a Tiger Games event, which was really nice. Looking forward, we're focusing on writing notes to nursing homes this Thanksgiving, teacher appreciation snack preparation, which will be in the next few weeks, and then helping the community on Main Street, specifically with Holiday Hoopla. Also, as basketball season starts, we hope to have Coaches versus Cancer event, which we will help try and manage and fundraise for, as well as organize. So, yeah, that's it for the high school part. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you for coming, James. Thanks for that update. A lot of good happenings at the high school. So next, we will move into Janelle's portion for district update. So Janelle, take it away.
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot tonight, so decided to invite a guest for you to listen to a little bit. So I will turn it over to Andrew Meister from Pete Junior High. He's the principal there.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Petty. Thank you for inviting us to share something that happened about a month ago, 4 or 6 weeks ago. Something that we were really excited about, extended from this gentleman called Timmy the Dreamer. that we had present to our whole entire school last year in the spring. And he just had such an outpouring of students reaching out to him, and it kind of just helped us realize that we wanted this movement to continue and kind of the momentum with Timmy. So him and I spoke for quite a while over the summer and tried to think of a new, another thing to do, and came up with our 1,000 Acts of Kindness on October 6th, planned quite a bit of time to create a day that our students got to be out and about. It was the entire day. Our 7th and 8th graders, for the most part, stayed in the building and did all kinds of things, which we'll present here in just a second. But then I asked to come along with me, one of our bright, shining stars that was able to engage in the day, and then it motivated her to kind of keep some momentum going herself with some things that have impacted our school even further. So we'll jump into our presentation here, but yeah, October 6th was a really cool day for Pete Junior High, and our 9th graders got to go out into the community in their former feeder schools, their elementary schools. So just a day of excitement, and we got a lot of positive response from it. So if you see here, the goal was 1,000 acts, and how we kept track of that was just kind of loosely. But we had kids all over the place. We had teachers all over the place. We ended up doing 226 acts of kindness was the estimated the amount. We had 700 solo cup activity with a group of students that put up Choose Kind on the fence line there outside of University Avenue, and then on Cedar, where you can see by our football field, which has remained intact so far, which is awesome. We had a donation from SMAC to put together cards to families and those that have impacted our students' lives in many different ways. 300 bags of popcorn were put together for the North Star, their employees, and that group. One of the really unique and cool groups we partner with to create love boxes, just an outpouring of donations to our school to build these boxes that help foster families give in a really good way. So 31 boxes, it sounds like that put them quite a bit ahead of where their goals were in terms of having these boxes for local foster families. So really cool experience there for our students. 10 tie blankets that went to the Humane Society for different animals. 4 elementaries were impacted by our students that went back to where they went to elementary and read books and played recess and played in the gym. Built some banners that kind of inspired our students to keep going, keep working hard. And then students got the opportunity to write about different staff members and thank them for the different things that our staff members do. And they're up in our teacher lounge and the entry to the building, and just kind of a reminder that we've all got this and we're all in this together. Worked with 3 different community agencies that were just super excited to partner with us, and it was built off of one dream to create kindness throughout our school community and our local area community. I'm going to kind of give you the celebration at the end is this little clip here. It gets a little wild, but it was pretty cool. This is how we ended the day with Timmy the Dreamer. Confetti and junior high kids. Doesn't get better than that. Pretty cool. All right, so this is a true highlight for me for the day. A conversation I got to have with Selah after our kindness day and how it inspired her to continue to do something that is near and dear to her. So I want to give her an opportunity to speak to what she's done since Kindness Day and kind of how that's impacted our school.
Yeah, so I was inspired by this when I went to a fall retreat from the church that I go to for youth group, Trinity Bible Church. And the high school girls, they were just making these clips. They had little Bible verses on them. And I'm like, we had Timmy the Dreamer. What if I did this with kindness stuff? So I have mine right here, right now. I have some of my clips. And all you do is that when you're in passing period, you're going to grab one of these clips and then you're just going to clip someone on the back. They're not going to notice. So then you're just going to see them walking down the hallway and they're going to have a clip on them. And then everyone's going to be like, hey, I think you got clipped. And then they can read the little act of kindness written on here. Because I have, before you earn love from others, learn to love yourself. Thank you. Don't give up on what you believe in. If you see someone without a smile, give them yours. And how can I help? And I just believe that spreading little acts of kindness is a big thing that you can do, because if you cannot do great things, do little things in a great way. Yeah. And also knowing that you can see people in the hallway, they're just going to be looking normal, but normal does not exist. They're going to have a past that you cannot completely understand, and something you can do for them is just to give them something that they might laugh at it. They might get out of the world that they might be suffering in. And it's just something that you can do, just little things. These are like 50-cent clothespins that you can just paint and write something on them. In fact, all of them, since Timmy the Dreamer inspired me, I wrote Timmy the Dreamer on the back of every single one of these, along with my initials plus OG, SMTOG, Salem Marie Tweetmeyer Original. And I have @kindness clips on here. We don't have a website, but maybe we can make one, you know?
So just such a cool story, and when Sayla brought that to me, I was really proud to hear her talk about that and see the passion that she had for spreading kindness around her school. We just had an outpouring of stories like this, teachers that saw former students and people in the community that really bought into what we were trying to do that day. So such a fantastic thing, and as example with Sayla and her hard work and dedication. Actually had a teacher not too long after Sayla started, was inspired by her to, during our Tiger Time, have an enrichment where they continue to make the clips and spread that even farther. So her small acts done greatly have really impacted her school, which is really, really great. We would like to end with an unofficial clip. It sounds like Timmy the Dreamer, who brought his tech person along this time and was recording all kinds of stuff, and we had a social media squad that was recording all kinds of stuff, and there's going to be an official Kindness Day video that they're going to put together for us, so stay tuned there. But this is kind of our unofficial throw together some of our stuff that happened that day. Again, thanks for the time.
All right, I'm here today with 700 students at Peak Junior High, and they want to say something to you all.
Again, thank you.
Does anyone have an instant reaction to that?
Excellent.
Don't want to speak for everybody, but I think that brings a little joy to the board table here to just see what the students are doing and what the staff is leading them into. So thank you for that. That was amazing. All right, so the next item that we have is a special American Education Week proclamation. So Melanie Wirtz is here to share that with us, and as a board, we'll get to make this proclamation. Welcome,
Great.
Melanie.
Thank you so much for having me. So in a moment, I'll read the proclamation for American Education Week, and I want to point out that that recognizes the vital role that public schools play as the foundation of our democracy, helping students gain both practical and intellectual skills to build successful futures. It honors the dedication of all education employees, from teachers and school counselors to custodians and bus drivers, who work together to ensure safe, supportive, and effective learning environments. So with that in mind, the proclamation reads, whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality. And whereas, by equipping young Americans with both practical skills and broader intellectual abilities, schools give them hope for and access to a productive future. And whereas, all education employees, be they teachers, school counselors, teacher librarians, instructional coaches, curriculum specialists, paraprofessionals, school secretaries, custodians, nurses, maintenance and grounds personnel, technology specialists, bus drivers, food service, building principals, business services, human resources, district administrators, school boards, or substitute ESPs and teachers work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism, and work together to provide a safe and healthy learning environment for students. Whereas schools are community linchpins, bringing together adults and children, educators and volunteers, business leaders and elected officials in a common enterprise. Now, therefore, we as representatives of the Cedar Falls Educational Support Professionals and the Cedar Falls Education Association do hereby proclaim November 17th through the 21st as the annual observance of American Education Week.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think speaking for the board, we as a board want to give American Education Week its due by making this proclamation. And I liked that long list of education employees that you listed, because it really takes everyone, and there's so many different roles that we play to keep our district going day in and day out. So thank you to all the people that you mentioned in your proclamation. Okay, so let's see. I can't remember if there's no board motion here, but we just declare as a board proclamation. Okay, so next we will move into our October financial reports. So Danelle, I'll let you go over those tonight.
Absolutely. We'll pull those up on the screen here. Again, there are times that I go through this quite quickly. There are times that I explain each and every one of those specific funds. Tonight, well, we'll see where we go with it, but we'll talk about the October 25 month-end balances. Our general fund, as you know, we do have, that is our overall salaries, benefits, operations of the district. And you'll note for revenues this month, we had $13,625,964, which if you previously review our other financials, this is our October property tax that we receive. We receive those larger payments twice a year. That would be in October and in April. You'll see expenditures associated to our general fund of $6,220,106 for total cash investments of $19,924,280.77. We do have our management fund. Our management fund is utilized for our overall district insurances, not personal or not benefit insurances, but our property insurance, our workman's comp, that's associated to the district. We had revenues of $836,365. You will note there was a transfer out of that $500,000. If you recall, in July, the board did approve an interfund loan to ensure that we were able to make the payment accordingly, because those expenditures do populate in July, and so there's minimal expenditures throughout the year. So those expenditures that we do have of $12,656.69, with total cash investments then of $784,292.03. And that transfer out was back into our SAVE account. That's where that interfund loan came from. Speaking of our SAVE account, that's a 1 cent sales tax. For those that are unfamiliar with the SAVE, we do have revenues of a little over $749,000 with expenditures of $13,991. We do have that transfer out of $357,929. That transfer out is transferred into our debt service, and that is for our GO bonds as well as then our sales tax revenue bonds, debt payments that are required in the months in which they occur. So then for our ending balances is $15,899,893. We do have our physical plant equipment levy, which is our PEPL, that's utilized for our fleet as well as for facilities. Our roofing structures, we currently are utilizing that for the construction of our natatorium and Tiger Performance Center. You'll note we had revenues of a little over $2.9 million. Of that, about $900,000 of that was from the CAT grant, if you recall. The district did receive, with working with others within the community as well as the city, the CAT grant, which we greatly appreciate. Those are utilized dollars for the natatorium, the funding of the natatorium. We then have our expenditures of $1.3 million for total cash investments at $11,405,186. We have our debt service. You'll note those balances associated to that. There are no payments at this time. Those payments do occur twice a year. You'll note that in November as well as then in May. You'll start to see payments accordingly to that. As we move forward then, we have our student activity, which is our clubs, organizations, our athletics. We had revenues of a little over $135,000 with expenditures of $155,000 for total cash investments of $861,451. Our agency funds as well as then our enterprise fund. Our enterprise fund are those dollars associated to our nutrition fund. Those are used, that does include salaries and benefits of our food service as well as then the food and supplies associated to that program. We had revenues a little over $374,000 with expenditures of $335,171 for total cash investments of $3,735,270. We have our student coffee shop, which we've mentioned previously, and the balance associated to that. And then our River Hills Consortium and the River Hills Consortium, our flow-through dollars. You'll note that this is still ending Q4 with those dollars of the $70,000 that is remaining. You'll see that as a zero balance in our next payment, but those dollars do flow to the Central Rivers AEA. And then you'll see then the year-to-date balances based on our certified budget at the time in which it was written in March and where we currently stand with those budget balances for each of those funds for the month of October. Any questions associated to our balances for October?
Any questions from the board? So the management fund is lower because those payments are made twice a year, right?
That is correct.
So
yeah.
that payment hasn't been made yet?
The payment actually has been made in July. So all of the premiums associated to our insurances are paid in July. That balance is lower. We will receive additional funds throughout the year to have that balance begin to grow again.
Okay.
Yes.
One other kind of off-the-wall question, but couldn't student coffee fund be combined with student activity? Why does it have to be separate?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, it is a requirement through Iowa Code and through the Department of Education that we are required to list that as its own entity. It's the same as a food service. They are a proprietary, and so we have to have them listed separately. So, yeah, great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, if no further questions, just a reminder that these financial reports are put on file and subject to our annual audit process and can be reviewed. Okay, so we'll move now on to item G of our agenda, which is to appoint a designee for Central Rivers AEA Board of Directors, District 4. Dr. Battie, I'll let you cover this one.
Yes, so within your packet, you will see that we are going to appoint a designee to the Board of Directors for Central Rivers AEA. A couple different things have changed since the last time we've done this. Typically, every 4 years, there's an application process, a candidacy that goes out. However, this year, even though we are still appointing or electing a 4-year term, you will see on the last page of the documentation with the legislative changes that were made regarding AEAs a year ago, they changed how the Board of Directors would organize and work for all the AEAs across the state of Iowa. You'll notice that they went down to 5 district directors. And then there are actually 4 superintendents that are within the AEA that will be elected to that board as well. You will see that District 4, which is the area that we encompass within Cedar Falls, is a 4-year term. There are some terms that are going to be 2-year terms as they enact this new legislation for the AEAs. We did have one individual that did submit his name for candidacy. That is Dr. Tony Reed. Dr. Reed actually has been elected to the Central Rivers Board of Directors for the last, I believe, 2 terms. So this would be a continuation of Dr. Reed serving in that role, and he is the only individual that actually submitted his name. So we would certainly recommend Dr. Tony Reed into this role and recommend that the board appoint him as a designee for Central Rivers. And just so you're aware, it used to be Cedar Falls and maybe, I believe it was Janesville and one other district that was in our district. Now that they've expanded the districts due to the fact they've gone from 9 districts down to 5 districts that are elected, there are roughly 8 other districts now that also are involved in voting in this position for this individual.
Okay, any questions about the process? How do the superintendents get nominated and elected?
So an email went out from the Department of Education and asked for self-nominations. And then there will be a ballot that I believe goes out to district superintendents to elect or vote on those individuals. So, and I think that is due by the end of November, I believe. So what I have heard is there are 8 or 9 individuals across our AEA that submitted their names for nomination, and then that election will occur.
Good. Okay, if no other questions, I'll request a motion to appoint.
I move the Cedar Falls Community School District Board of Education cast the weighted vote for Dr. Tony Reed as Director of District Number 4 for the Area Education Agency Board of Directors.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and any questions, concerns, discussion topics before we move to a vote? Hearing none, all in favor of appointing Dr. Tony Reed, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And we'll move now to item H of our agenda, which is approval of some SBRC dollars, administrative costs for the Lead Center. So Danelle, I'll let you explain this one.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to talk about H and I, if that's okay. We'll go ahead and pull up the presentation. Again, as you mentioned, this is a request for the School Budget Review Committee, SBRC, as we often call it. This is for the special education administrative cost, and I'll walk through a little bit of that and why that's an acceptable cost for the consortium. As I mentioned earlier in the financials, we do have a River Hills Consortium that currently includes 44 different public school districts within the state. Currently, we have 29 of them have students attending for the 25-26 school year. And as you know, the purpose of the consortium is really just to provide that additional appropriate educational opportunities for our students with moderate or severe or profound development disabilities. You'll note that the River Hills currently is serving 81 students from ages 3 to 21. And the consortium district does contract with the Central Rivers AEA. They contract for the actual staffing, so the teachers, paraeducators, the administrators, as well as the facility itself. So that includes your custodians, the overall facility as well. So one of the items that is not an acceptable cost in our special education is normally the administrative cost. But with the consortiums, it is an allowable cost. And so we are required to request the special education administrative cost a year in advance. So you'll note for this year, we are taking a look for the administrative cost of the salary. We utilize the 25-26 salary. We divide that cost over the 81 students that are currently attending. And then we take that times the number of students that the district currently has attending, and we currently have 10 students attending. We additionally add then that FICA and IPERS associated to that for the total request of $23,907.55. This will then be added into our total special education cost for the 26-27 school year. So we are required to request this a year in advance, as I've noted, specifically for our River Hills. And we will for our lead center as well. So our lead center is very similar. That is a consortium of 25 public school districts. It is located in Waverly, Iowa. It does provide those additional services for those challenging with behavioral needs and that require some additional supports. Currently, the lead center has 49 students that are enrolled this year. Not all of them are enrolled a 1.0, so you could see a half-time FTE, a 0.2 FTE, so it's considered not all full-time. Again, this is administrative cost only that we're able to accept and actually request, and it does have to be 1 year in advance, as I had mentioned. Based on the lead center's information that they've provided, their total in administrative cost is $115,000 divided by that 49 students. You'll note that we currently have 1 student attending the lead center for a total cost of $2,748.03. Again, this would be for our 26-27 school year, and this is submitted in February to the SBRC. The district does submit that on behalf of all of the districts that are participating in the River Hills Consortium, and Lee does the same thing. They submit that on our behalf. So it would be recommended to move forward with accepting those dollar amounts associated to both the River Hills and lead centers. Any questions that you may have?
And really what this is asking for is the spending authority that goes with the state code that allows administrative costs to be requested to the SBRC. And we know that spending authority is something that drives our funding formula, which is extremely important for districts as we look at overall budgets.
So the students that we have attending both of these centers are considered in the total of all Cedar Falls students, right? But like for example, the River Hills, the students attending from other districts, are they counted in their student population?
Correct. So of the 81 students that attend River Hills, 10 of them are ours. The districts that also send students, those are their resident students. They're just part of the consortium that we're really the fiscal agent for, served through Central Rivers.
And I think last year when we did this, we had a good conversation about River Hills and how it's revered among families that have special education needs. And so I guess we just take the opportunity to say thank you to everyone, the staff there, and all the families and everything to make that school happen, because it's a great school for those that need it.
I would echo the same thing about Lead Center. I have a lot of experience there myself, and the work that staff does there is incredible.
Good. Okay, well, since Danelle went over both H and I, we'll just move from one to the next here. So item H for the administrative cost of the Lead Center. Is there a motion to approve?
I move the Board of Directors of the Cedar Falls Community School District approve the application to the School Budget Review Committee in the amount of $2,748.03 for special education administrative costs associated with the Lead Center Consortium program for the 2026-2027 school year.
Okay, thank you. And is there a second?
Second.
Director Orvis? And any questions, comments before moving to a vote? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Hearing none, motion carries, and we'll move right into item I, which is the River Hills portion of this. Is there a motion to approve the administrative costs of River Hills?
I move that the Board of Directors of the Cedar Falls Community School District approve the application to the School Budget Review Committee in the amount of $23,907.55 for special education administrative costs associated with the River Hills Consortium program for the 2026-2027 school year.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. And we'll move now to item J, which is really towards the end of our meetings. We allow a chance for Dr. Pattee to give us a superintendent's report. So what's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, just a couple different items. The Iowa Association of School Board State Convention is upcoming next week, November 19th to the 21st. We should have everybody signed up for each of the things that they noted that they wish to attend, as well as accommodations for that convention. The delegate assembly is on November 19th. We did get Nate signed up for that, so hopefully you got all the confirmation for that. Next board meeting is December 8th, so that'll be our organizational meeting with newly elected board members. At that meeting, the canvass of elections is on Wednesday of this week, which will then officially approve all of the election results. So that is why the organizational meeting is on December 8th. And then the final one is the winter sports kickoff is a week from tonight, November 17th at 7 p.m., which is always a neat night for our parents, community, and especially our students involved with activities. So we know that'll be always an exciting evening to celebrate the work and success of all those programs.
Good,
I
thank you.
assume that is at the high school.
And time?
7 p.m. at the high school, correct. 7:30 at the high school.
If you're there by 7, you're perfect.
Sorry.
All right.
I've had several emails about that. My fault.
I'm going to tell my wife 7.
RJ.
Okay, thanks for that update. So this will be a chance for our new board members at the IASB State Convention to get to know current and returning board members. So that's always a nice event to just learn about school business and also meet our fellow board members. So now we'll move on to the item K, which is just our wrap-up of any questions, comments, concerns from board members. Any topics that you'd like to bring up?
I did notice that one of the items that came across in our email was recommendations for DOGE. I'm sorry, I don't remember the specifics of the acronym, but it's cost-saving measures from the state. I encourage board members to read that over and make sure that you have a good understanding of what some of those recommendations might be.
Interesting. I must have missed that. So that was an IASB email?
I believe it was an IASB, yes.
And I think that's also an advocacy point of emphasis that many of those recommendations will need to go through the legislative session. So always good to advocate and make sure that as a board that we're collectively advocating for public education as well.
Okay, anything else from board members?
What kind of impacts have we had with the government shutdown here in the district?
Well, that's a really good question. a couple different things. Number one, we have not seen a significant impact because of the federal funds that we receive and the timing of those federal funds. So we will see maybe some more of that as we look into the next few weeks. But it should not be significant on how they reimburse or how they pay forward some of the federal funds that we receive as a district or as a state before they send those to the districts. One of the funds that we had, we applied and received the funds for the Inflation Reduction Act that we were planning to use for the TPC. Because of the IRS layoffs that occurred here in the last several months, that slowed down that payment. And then when the government shut down, that payment has not been issued. So what we were hoping was that could potentially be here in October or November, but now we're hearing that could be out several more months. So we're just having our fingers crossed. So far, impact as far as realized revenue, not much. Impact for what we were hoping to potentially move forward with this late fall, early winter, with especially the TPC. It's put some of those things on hold.
Okay, thanks for that. Any other questions, comments? Pretty quiet night tonight, and also a pretty short agenda tonight. So I'll go ahead and request a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Dr. Meyer, is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Peterson, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thanks all for being here and for tuning in tonight. Good night.